Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-match review where Manchester United have just lost 1-0 at Old Trafford, and it's absolutely pissing it down, which is you can relate that almost to the season. It's just fucking been miserable. It's been pouring for the majority. Wasn't the twatting that we got off Crystal Palace. That's, I suppose, one positive if you want to put it like that. I thought it was a much more respectable performance. But it's still 14 Premier League defeats for United and 19 overall this season, and we currently sit in 8th. Had Casemiro not made that mistake, Sam, do you think the game could have gone differently, or do you think it was just inevitable?
I thought I was going to sneeze then, but yeah, we're going to hold up. Apologies. I thought Arsenal were under par, if anything. I didn't think Arsenal were playing as well as they have done this season. Had the Arsenal shown up that tore Chelsea apart and have torn many teams apart this season, I think it would have been game over. But they seemed, the first 10 minutes we play well and we look in the game. They scored 20th minute, I think. And then they just sort of took the foot off the gas, really, didn't they? They didn't really push too much. I thought
weren't really troubled, were they?
No,
at all.
No. I think Onana did make quite a few, I think 3 really good saves to keep us in it. I think there was a couple of shots where possibly could have gone the other way. But for the most part, I think, you could tell, we have got so many injuries and we're missing so much quality in a minute. You could tell that. You could also tell the players that are playing have played so much football. Garnacho and Højlund, and they're just knackered at this point. And then, I think there was we could have won, had we got the likes of, say, Bruno, say, Rashford, say, some fresh legs to change things up. I think we possibly could have gone and stole a point, which I think on reflection would be fair from the game and stuff like that. But I think in terms of if you're going to lose to the second best team in the Premier League, that's probably as good as it's going to get in terms of a loss, I guess.
Yeah, and it feels almost awkward saying that, innit? Because no one ever wants to lose, and we never want to lose. I'm a gutted loss to Arsenal, but for the expectations that a lot of us had pre-match, we were saying it could be 5, 6, 7-0. So in that sense, you're coming away from it, and you're like, I'm not as furious because it's not fucking. It doesn't become embarrassing then. It's one of those where I thought at the start we set up much more structured. He was talking about when Eriksen was starting, it was all over the place. I thought Amrabat came in and did really well.
Good. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he was decent. Cleaning up on the ball for build up, he was much better. But when Casemiro does what he does, he's just sort of fuck it. I don't know how many times we need to say this after every single game, but he's just kind of lackadaisical, and it's experienced. It's not as if he couldn't have got back. You know what I mean? It was just kind of a lack of intent or a lack of.
It's mentality, isn't it? It's just mentality. It's mentality.
Yeah,
he's
weak.
just.
It's just.
Yeah. He's checked out, hasn't he? Like he's literally just gone. I can't be asked. Like I just can't be asked doing the absolute basics. And I put it in the group chat. There was like 3 incidents where he's done this. And it's cost us a goal every time. Crystal Palace, he's done it. Against Coventry, the first goal they scored, exactly the same thing happened. It would have been offside, but because of him not getting out onto his defensive line properly. And then today I think was the most egregious one. Like he just didn't give a shit.
Can you put it on the screen because it's in the WhatsApp, isn't it?
I can
it on the screen.
There's a super chat.
Kind of.
A super chat if you want to read that out while I'm getting these.
Absolutely. Ronnie Dodge, thank you very much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that after a loss. It's obviously been miserable. Awful, but better. Well done to the women's team. Absolutely well done to the women's team. We won 3-0, I think it was, in the final today, the FA Cup final against Tottenham. So at least they're winning. Something to be relatively positive about. Muncie talks. As soon as I see a defence, I knew we wouldn't have won. We have no creativity up front. We missed Bruno Fernandes. I could have been in defence and done better than them a lot, and I'm 41 years old. The ladies done well, should have played them. Yep, absolutely fantastic. 4-0, sorry, apologies. Yeah, the ladies won 4-0 today. So, yeah, they're winning. We're not. We've still got, I think, 3-4 games towards the end of the season that's left. Like I said, we're currently sat in 8th. And then if I'm to pull the Premier League table up, let's have a look at the state of it at the moment.
So
54 points we're on.
I'm going to put this in the corner here, just so.
Yeah.
So this is the Arsenal one. Like, if you have a look here, like, look at where, like, Wan-Bissaka's too deep as well, but at least he's within a couple of feet there of an Arsenal attacker. Who's that? Is that Amrabat, the next one up on there.
Let me have a look on the thing because it's not come up on my screen yet. Let me get
and then Casemiro is on the edge of the D, and there's about 10, 15 yards between him and the next Man United player. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
I wish we had. Do you know what they have on Sky where you can draw the lines and like the space and
then
Jesus
if we,
Christ, man.
I'll bring up this one. So let's get rid of that. And
Which one we're throwing up now?
So this is Crystal Palace.
Oh god, yeah.
Look, so there's the two. There's the two there with the bank of three fucking Crystal Palace players, and then Casemiro all the way inside his own half. Like, what is he doing?
Unacceptable, isn't it?
What is he doing?
Unacceptable, man.
And then the final one. This was against Coventry. Again, not as egregious this one, but look at where the last United defender is, and then look at where Casemiro is. Like, just what are we doing? Why?
And that's what kills you as a manager, because you can talk about tactics, and like we said, I feel like Eric Ten Hag set them up okay today. They wasn't too bad. We didn't have much threat up top, but the way we set up was far better. When you have a player who does that, it's like if you're a manager and you've been, scheduling training sessions and working on certain things heading into this game, and then a player does that, you're like, you might as well stand there and go, what's the point?
Just do what you want, lads. Just do what you want, lads.
Just for you to throw me under a fucking bus. What's the point of me going through all this tactical work, all these training drills and stuff, for a player to do that? It's pretty fucking embarrassing, to be honest with you. And a man of his experience should be doing much better. But I don't want to make it the Casemiro show. I thought there was a couple of other players as well, which is a less serious discussion. But for me, Sam, I'm watching players like Wan-Bissaka, like McTominay, and there was a couple of others as well. They were like deers in headlights when they get the ball. When you have that composure at certain moments. I remember Wan-Bissaka got it. Arsenal almost had a counter attack, and he was on the halfway line, and he chested it and brought it down. And rather than just going and then spraying it out wide, he just kind of did a bit of that, tried to turn, and then they almost caught us again on the attack. And that's kind of a systematic thing where you look at the players that are involved, and it's like, how are you supposed to create chances and keep the ball ticking when you got players like this? Impossible.
This is the thing. Like, people will blame Ten Hag with tactics and stuff like that, and I get that. Like, I understand that because he has been at fault several times of the stuff he's done, and I think we are absolutely within right to criticise managers for certain decisions. However, so many of these players, like Ralph Ragnick said it in our fucking short that still gets hits to this day that you made. Still gets hits to this day. He's like, we need open heart surgery on this team. He said this like 2 years ago, and it's still true. There's still players in this team that are just not good enough. Wan-Bissaka is another one. Casemiro has checked the fuck out. McTominay, we've been saying it for years. Great lad. Bring him on 10 minutes from the end if you need to score a goal. But other than that, he has no use. He's not good enough. Like, he's just not there. And I just think there's so many players throughout. We could go be here for ages and go through the team and just get rid of it. All the best players in our team are all the players that are under 21. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Like,
and they play
Garnacho,
like senior.
Like, they're better. Cambuala, like, they're all better than the fucking senior players. And that's where we're at. And I think you need to get rid of, like, 10, 11 players. Like, we're never going to get rid of that many players because that's not how transfers work. But that's where we're at. We need 3 windows to get rid of all this shit and just rebuild it, because we've been saying it for years, and every year we don't do it. And this is the result. It's just going to continue on like this. And I think you need to upgrade in several areas. But the problem is there's so many areas that you need to upgrade. It's like, which one's the most pressing at this point? Like, it's difficult, man. It's really difficult.
The other kind of talking points as well is the attacking sort of chemistry, and Gary Neville kept referencing it throughout like the game, and we've been referencing it throughout the season. The runs, no balls into the box. Like, as a striker, you need crosses, man. And with Garnacho as well, there was a lot of criticism on him, and I'll dive into that a little bit deeper shortly. But just no crosses into the box whatsoever. Like, the wing backs don't really offer the wingers overlap, so then they're isolated. The whole thing's broken it up top.
On that left hand side, I think James from the Muppeteers said it. It's dead. Like, people are having a go at Garnacho, and I think he is wasteful at times and does make the wrong decision. However, he's 19 and he's still learning his trade, and he's played more games than he probably should have done. Like, he's played 40 odd games. Like, he should not be playing 40 games at 19. I don't care how good you are. Ronaldo wasn't playing 40 odd games when he came to this team. He wasn't. So he needs somebody to take over him. But the only problem is Rashford has been fucking abysmal. And then he's been playing on the right because our right hand side has been shite. At least when Rashford plays there, if you have, say, Luke Shaw, who's willing to do the overlaps, he's willing to come in and help him out, you've got something going there. On the right hand side, he's got Wan-Bissaka normally, who's just, like you said,
look at Ben
enough.
White with Saka.
Yeah.
Like how well they work in unison together. Garnacho just does not have that.
I want to touch on Amrabat putting Saka on toast, by the way, as well at some point. But yeah, on the right, for some reason, Dalot is inverting and he's coming into the midfield. So then Ahmad had nobody doing an overlap for him. Like he was just sort of, do you know what I mean? He was isolated, and so Højlund's not able to make a run because he thinks, well, Ahmad is not going to put the ball in the box. He's going to cut in, so I'm not going to make this run. And then sometimes Ahmad did put the ball in the box, or Garnacho put the ball in the box, and Højlund was like, well, he doesn't know what his wingers are going to do. So he doesn't have that chemistry.
For Ahmad, it was Wan-Bissaka on his side. He weren't offering runs.
Sorry.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka was just kind of, he'd get to a certain point in the pitch and then he'd stop. That's why I'm saying about deer in headlights. Like he gets it and he just doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He looks like an uncoached player, which isn't true, but he looks like that. Dalot was more left back, so that you're right in the sense with Garnacho where he's isolated, because when he's dropping into midfield, who's offering the runs? You know, there's no one. The subs towards the end I thought was a little bit bizarre. I thought Ericsson coming on for Amrabat, and then Forsum was like, okay,
he's trying to get a goal. He's trying to get a goal.
Yeah,
isn't he?
He's almost desperate though. I thought a little bit, just bringing him on just for the sake of it.
There was no aside from Garnacho, and obviously we'll touch on the Ahmad injury. Aside from Garnacho, there was nobody in the forward line that was really threatening anything. There was no Bruno there to do anything. So I think he was just chucking attacking-minded players on just to see if something happens. I know Wheatley's done really, really well at the under-18s level. Ericsson can create when he's on form and stuff like that. So I think he was just trying to do something, trying to change something, because the game was there to get a point out of. I think it was, but yeah, I feel sorry for our forwards at times, and I feel sorry for the striker as well. Like he's getting no service at all, like zero fucking service, and then people are like, he's crap, he's over. What do you want him to do? Like I think Gary Neville put his touch map on the thing. There was only like 2 touches in the box because nobody's giving him the ball. It's like,
to be fair, the expectation for these kids, you know, they're asking for consistency from teenagers. It doesn't happen, man. It doesn't. And like you said as well, they've almost become like the senior players in the team where their expectations is on them. Rather than the other ones who've been like, Wan-Bissaka's been in the team for fucking ages. You know,
like,
Casemiro's been an experienced player.
You got, like you said, Casemiro, a very experienced player, and then you brought Willy Cambuala on. So in your head, you think, oh, Casemiro will be coaching him through, talking to him all the time, marshalling him, blah, blah. And you look, it's like Cambuala looks like the more experienced defender or the more experienced player. Like, it's ridiculous.
Crazy. Right, let's get into some chats then, because there's quite a few. I'm interested to hear everybody's opinion, so please do smash a like on the video, and if you want to cheer us up a little bit after that loss, we're 5 subscribers off 5,000 subs, so please hit that subscribe button right now if you're watching, if you are new to the channel, and I'll read your comments out right now. Let's see what everybody is saying. Ronnie Dodge saying, I think Casemiro's checked out, he's off in the summer along with some others. I tend to agree with that. Tim99's in the chat, big up Tim, saying I thought we set up okay, but that's the best I can say. Yeah, you can leave it at that almost, can't you, when describing it. So Jim, criticism of the Casemiro transfer, then buys the club and Casemiro drops off. Conspiracy, if you want to go down that road, that's up to you. Shrinder, Eric Ten Hag in at all costs, give him really good windows, man. Players are the issue. What's your thoughts on that, Sam?
I think he was given too much power in transfer windows, because they didn't have a structure and a recruitment board like we are putting together now. So they were kind of like, because obviously John Murta and Richard Arnold have about as much ball knowledge as my left testicle. So it's like, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's not like, so they basically go to Eric Ten Hag, like, who do you want then? Like, do you know what I mean? They didn't have like a scouting system and a thing set up where they could be like, right, this is the style I want to play, and these are the players we've identified to fit your system. And then have a conversation with a manager. It's like, right, we can go for this guy, blah, blah, blah. I've been through it a million times on this channel. Yeah. So they basically just went to Ahmad, who do you want? To Eric Ten Hag, who do you want? And he's gone, get guys I can trust and I've worked with before, because that's what I've got to do. And he's gone out and it's been hit and miss, really, hasn't it? Like, Lisandro Martinez, goodbye. Anthony, awful bye. Casemiro, first year, great. Second year, fucking abysmal. Højlund, yet to be seen. Who am I missing? Mason Mount, injured all season. Don't know what he's going to do. So it's hit and miss, man. So I think him to work with the recruitment side, I think that's the golden thing there, because we've seen it in other teams like Liverpool. Klopp didn't want Salah, but the board bought him anyway, and he's arguably been one of his best players his entire time at Liverpool. So I think it can still work, even if the manager doesn't get exactly who he wants. I think you can still make it work.
Yeah. Moondog Keane was right. If you watch the latest overlap, he mentions Casemiro's being exposed and the players around him aren't stepping up and helping. I agree to a certain extent, but what he did in today's game has
just lazy.
Nothing to do with
it's
that.
Just lazy.
It's lazy.
Yeah.
Pure laziness. Ronnie Dodge with another super chat. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. Saying we have a zombie squad mixed match of styles at the club. Yeah, that's another thing to consider when we've spoken about previous managers who've been here. Players from Van Gaal, players from Mourinho, players from Ole, and now players from Ten Hag. It is a mixed bag, very much a mixed bag, which needs addressing. UTFR's in the chat saying, get Garnacho back on the right. I agree, but I also think it's a case of, I don't know if you agree as well, Sam, but the fact is the amount of games that he's played, he looks almost like mentally done, doesn't he, and physically done.
We've just touched on the fullback, the lack of fullback doing the overlap and helping him out. Because we saw the best out of Rashford. So last season, Rashford scored 30+ goals. And why did he score 30+ goals? Because we had Luke Shaw available the entire season. Luke Shaw was available, and they have a fantastic relationship. Got the overlaps and the support and stuff like. Garnacho's getting nothing from Dalot, and then when he's on the right, he's got Wan-Bissaka, and he's getting nothing there either. So he has to do it all by himself, and he's still a raw player. So then his end product isn't that great yet. So.
Yeah, both the lads have said there, UTFR and Ronnie, why don't we put just a left footer on the left? The left side's missing Shaw. To be fair, I think he tried that with Anthony, didn't he? For like the last 10 minutes, just swung.
You see the state of our defence, the fucking...
that's what I mean. There was a point where I was watching it at the 95th minute, and it was just Ericsson and Camboire on the halfway line, and I was like, if they get a transition now, they're going to clean us out. So I was just like, I'd rather the game just fucking end. Sticking with the negatives, and then we'll get into the positives. Ahmad went down holding his knee, and I'm pretty sure the long-term injury that he had...
It looked like a ligament, didn't it?
It was his knee that he did.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very worried. And again, it's another case of the curse striking in it when you get to a little bit of, actually, he started the game, looked really good. I thought he was one of the better players on the pitch for Man United, personally.
I agree.
And it's, again, leaves people with questions more than answers, saying, why the fuck has he not been starting?
Yeah, it's almost criminal, isn't it, that we've gone through Sancho, Pellistri, Anthony, Garnacho, and Ahmad has been sat there the entire time. I know he was injured at the beginning. When did he get fit again?
Around November, December, I think it was.
So I know he was injured at the beginning, wasn't he? But he's been sitting there since Christmas, and we haven't played him. And this is what happens when you play him, man. I thought our right-hand side looked alive for the first time in ages. Like, he was great on the ball. His footwork is phenomenally good. I didn't realise how good his footwork is. It's really good. Almost got us a penalty as well. I think it would have been soft if I had to get. I've seen him given. It was
lucky though, wasn't it? In a sense.
So I've seen him given, but I thought it was a threat the whole time, and then he went down holding his knee, and he was rubbing the left-hand side of his knee. I think that is your PCL. I've torn that one. So I think that could be a problem. If it's a ligament, he's done and it's over. Like, it's a problem. And if it's the same knee as well, like that's bad. So yeah, I hope it's nothing. I hope it's just a strain or something like that, and he's fit for the FA Cup final. But yeah, it's gutting, man, because he looked arguably the best player on the pitch. I think maybe Amrabat you could put up there, but for me, Ahmad was far and away.
Yeah, I just thought it was a special moment for myself, because I've always believed in the kid. I've always thought, and I don't want to make it about individual FC, but he's definitely deserved an opportunity. Like, I've never understood why he hasn't got it, and he's persisted with Anthony almost. I think probably because of politics upstairs. You spent so much money on him, you're going to get question marks as to why you spent 85 million quid on a fucking player and then you're not starting him. So that side I get, but he's definitely warranted a lot more game time, and I'd be gutted for him if he's got a long-term injury again, because after that, that's when you watch it. You think the next two games, there's no doubt he should start on that right hand side. Like, it's not even a conversation for me, at least. I don't know if you're seeing this as well, Sam, on Twitter. All this footage of Old Trafford that's leaking all around the fog. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man, what is going on there?
Well,
it's like swimming bar. It's like the River Rapids round Old Trafford.
Well, we had Sir Jim there with Keir Starmer, Andy Berman, and who's the Lord?
I didn't know Keir Starmer was there as well.
Yeah, the Lord. Who's the guy who was the part of the Olympic Committee and he's part of the stadium?
I don't know his name. I know you mean.
Whoever he is, but they were all there at Old Trafford like early today discussing the regeneration and stuff. So it can't come soon enough with a fucking stadium.
Just go like that. Shit. Look over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Old Trafford is not an actual swimming pool, by the way. It's a football stadium, but you won't believe it by looking at it.
It's quite literally like a river rapids. You could get a dinghy and go around there. Let's go and talk about the positives then, because I want to try and end on a brighter note. The season finishes in 13 days, so for anyone who's a United fan, you're probably happy about that. Amrabat we touched on slightly, but I've got some stats for him here. So game by numbers versus Arsenal: 100% dribbles completed, 89% pass accuracy, 63 passes completed, 17 out of 21 final third passes completed, 4 tackles, 1 interception, 1 key pass, 1 shot. Is that another one that makes you question, Sam? Do you think why is he not starting more? Maybe.
Especially
at the moment.
I think we all said for Crystal Palace, let's start him. Like, don't put Eriksen in there. Let's put Amrabat in there. And everyone's like, oh, he's not being great. I was like, he cannot be worse than putting Eriksen in the 6 and the 8. He can't. And I think he showed that he definitely wasn't the player we saw for Morocco, and he definitely is not the player that we saw at Fiorentina at times. But that's probably his best performance at United. I think he's had. I think he looked decent. So. He looked composed. He had Saka on toast half the day. Like, just Saka. Yeah. Saka got actually so frustrated with him. He got away from Saka, and Saka grabbed him, yanked him to the ground because he frustrated him so much. So I think he had a really good performance. And yeah, it's a shame, man, that it's come at this point in the season, and we didn't try and play him in earlier in that role. But yeah, I suppose he goes back to Fiorentina and then see what happens with his career. I don't think we'll sign him, but I think I saw something good today. I've just seen Wayne Rooney say it's lazy from Casemiro. So there you go.
Yeah, Andy Mittens just tweeted as well. This is a fantastic tweet. So, Man United will introduce water hazards to slow opponents down and stop a 10th home defeat. Marginal gains. He's put.
Nice. I'm here for it.
Speaking of marginal gains, going forward, who do we build with in this squad? Who's shown you enough where you're like, right, let's build around these kids? Because next season is upon us. It'll be here before we know it. We've obviously got the Euros, but we've got a couple of games left. Start to kind of discuss that. So who do you think? Who do you want to build with in this squad?
Garnacho, I think, has to be kept. I think he's got some talent. I just think you need to support him better and have a backup so he's not playing so much games every other, like 40 odd games he started in a row, I believe. Kobe Mainoo, obviously, I think potentially could be a world class player. I think he's that good, so he's definitely on there. There's something in Højlund. I think there is something there. I think you get the right system, the right players around him. I think he will become. We've seen it. He did it in Champions League, and he had that run. I think he has something, so I would keep him.
Yeah.
Lissandro, if this injury things are just bad luck, I could keep Lissandro. Because if it carries on like this, you've got to worry, haven't you? You've got to worry if he's just going to carry on like so. Lissandro, depending on injury. Ahmad, but I don't think he'll stay. I think he'll go. Especially if Ten Hag stays, I can see him going, which sucks. But I would keep Ahmad personally, but I don't know if he stays. I don't know if he wants to stay if he's not getting first team opportunities. Onana, I think, made some really positive saves, some really good saves. If he can iron out mistakes in his game, his first season in the Premier League, I think it's just a mixture of nerves, stepping up to a massive level and stuff. We remember how bad David De Gea was in his first season. It's fucking abysmal. Yeah. And then he became...
Made a good save today, though, didn't it? Like, a couple good saves.
3 good saves. And then Onana, first season with De Gea as well. First season was awful, and we're all panicking and sort of losing our minds. And then for about 3-4 years, he was best goalkeeper in the world, wasn't he? David De Gea, and got that massive contract. So I think give him another season. I think everybody else is up for debate. I think everybody else, I would be open to selling, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Ronnie's saying Garnacho, Højlund, Mainu, Dalot. I wouldn't give Mount one more season to prove himself, or I think he might have meant Wood. I'm not sure. Martinez, Onana. It's weird, isn't it? Because yeah, again, we're sat here saying you probably need to clear out quite a lot of players again, like double figures almost.
Well,
you look at Eriksen, you look at Casemiro.
I think Eriksen, Casemiro will definitely go. I think they are no question. They go. The problem is the players that you're like, we could make some money off them. They are playing first team, but can you sell them for a thing? That's the people like Dalot, the people like Wan-Bissaka, the people like
even McTominay, Maguire,
Maguire,
kind of first team players.
Like those kind of guys.
You can't get rid of everyone. That's the difference.
No, but you saw with Arsenal when Arteta came on, they had to basically lose money on a lot of players just to get them out the door. They terminated Ozil's contract because he was on a shit ton of money and they just couldn't find a buyer for him, so they just terminated it. I think they did the same for Aubameyang, just had to loan him like to 2 different places, didn't they? Just trying to get him out the door. Xhaka, like different players, and I think we're gonna have to do the same. Certain players are just gonna cost us money to get rid of, and that's just gonna have to be how it is. We can't make money off every single one. We're just gonna have to get them out the door and be ruthless with it. But whether we do or not, we'll see.
Food for thought for Erik ten Hag, who's just been speaking in his post-match press conference, saying we were very competitive with Arsenal, one of the best teams in the league. Even when we were missing 7 potential starting 11 players, we were in the game and could have had a result. It was very much an away performance from Arsenal, wasn't it, in that sense?
Yeah.
Did it shock you how reserved it was?
Yeah, I don't understand why that happened, because I think they've got everybody available bar Timber, haven't they? Like, they haven't got any injuries.
Yeah.
Do you think they turn up, smashes like 3-4-0 and then go home and wait for City's game on Tuesday? But yeah, it seems to be a thing at Old Trafford. Like they can't seem to impress at Old Trafford, can they? Like they seem to play poorly every time they come here. Like this is only their 2nd win, I think, since Arteta's been here. So it's a bit weird, but yeah, I don't know why that happened. I don't know if we mitigated certain things and stopped them playing, or they just had an off day. I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a little bit weird to see. But I'm gutted we lost, because I think we could have snatched a point. But in terms of how bad it could have been, I think we've got to take it, really, haven't we? Yeah,
there's a perspective in that sense. He got asked about Casemiro as well. He said he can do that playing defence. On Monday, obviously, it was not his night, but it was collectively a poor performance. He can play in that position, and today he was in the right level. I mean, apart from the only goal of the game that he gave away. I'm not too sure about that. Comments, what we're saying. Is Martinez ever going to be the same player? I don't think we can rely on him. UTFR, I am worried about him, because he is one of our better players, and when he's missing out of probably the majority of players, it's significant,
as well.
Isn't it?
Shaw's the same. Yeah. Like, he's so injury prone, but when he is fit, he's integral to the team. But you can't rely on him. You can't rely on him.
Rajat saying Malacia going to go. I don't think so. No, I think they'll probably stick with him.
They'll give him another season. They'll give him
rehabilitation. Yeah, and then see how he kind of kicks the season off and take it from there. I don't think they'll be quick to pull a trigger. James, quite harsh, to be fair.
James from the Muppeters has said we're looking at a left back, aren't we? Like the left back.
Yeah, regardless, either way, we're looking at a left back. We're going to sign one, but I mean, I just don't get how the budget's going to stretch left, right, and centre. It's very, very bizarre to me. But anyway, we shall leave it at that. I've got the pros and cons tomorrow at 12 o'clock live, so make sure you come and join me once I've had a bit of time to settle down and analyse it in more depth. This is, of course, much more emotional and raw straight after the game. Not the game that we thought it would be, but it's not the result that we wanted, regardless whether it wasn't 4-5-0 to Arsenal. We wanted a competitive game. It was. Would you call it competitive? I don't know.
Fair. I think it was mostly competitive. I just think it was lacking quality, wasn't it, from both sides?
Yeah.
I think it was a very distinct lack of quality. I think Arsenal are way better than they showed today, and I think had we had certain players available, we probably could have took the game to them a lot more. And I think that's kind of where it was.
The most important thing for them anyway is the 3 points, because they're still in the title race. Unfortunately, we couldn't kind of bring that to a halt, which would have been nice. But yeah, United sit 8th in the league. Like I said, it's 14 Premier League defeats, 19 overall this season. and you're probably going to have to win the FA Cup final to get into Europe. So that's where we're at the moment. But like I said, 13 days and then the season's over, and we can start to discuss the summer under Ineos and everything else moving forward. So we'll leave you with that, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Sam's got something to say. Go on.
We've got 5 subscribers away from 5,000. So if you're watching this on demand or you're in the chat right now and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Get us to 5k. It would be fantastic to see that before like Monday morning. And if you're watching on demand, hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'll leave you with this stat before we go. This is Manchester United's 9th defeat this season at Old Trafford in all competitions. They've never lost more at home in a single campaign in their history. Also 9 in 1920, 1930 and 1973. Very bleak. Very bleak.
God.
Right, guys. I'll see you later. My name's Nick. This is Sam. See you in a bit.
Peace.